Hi, I'm Christopher Stewart. Now, sometimes, I've heard from a lot of senseis and a lot of people throughout my life that sit there and say things like, the problem is you've been set up for a lot of ridicule because people don't know who you are and because they don't know what we do. And who cares? That's not the point of martial arts. The point of martial arts is to teach other people a better way of life. Okay? If I just walk into a chat room and say, hey, join the martial arts, isn't it fun? Hey, look, I'm the Guyver. Crickets. 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 And I always find that strange. You would think that some martial artists would be more of the attitude of, hey, that's really neat. I've seen some of your films. That's really cool. I remember you. You were Christopher Stewart in Pentangle. That's fantastic. How are you? And what have you been doing? But I don't really get that much. And it's really strange. But, you sit there and you say you do ninjitsu. You're in a strange world in America. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of some of the senseis that teach it. I don't know. But the person who put it best was Stephen K. Hayes, who said, consider this. When you defeated 90% of all the senseis that ever teach in a combat, in a kumite, your style defeated theirs, utterly destroyed it. What could you learn from them? Nothing. So be yourself and do what you do best. And that's where a lot of it does come in. Senseis the world over walk up, look at students, and before they're going to do a demonstration, they say, show me your fist. Okay? Show me your fist. Now you have to understand, this is the primary reason I don't teach. Show me your fist. If your fist doesn't look like mine, you can't do my style. Okay? That's the most important thing to understand. Because if your fist does not look like this, your entire body would be broken the moment you tried to do what I do. A sensei would look at me and go, put your hands down. That's a lethal style, and that's not like everybody else, and we can't demonstrate that. We can't show that. So this is the one thing I can teach. Why are my hands different? I'll tell you why. My sensei said, this is the strongest part of your hand. Now I can break all day. I can sit there, bring up boards, bring up broomsticks, snap them in half all day long if I felt like it. I get bored breaking. I really do. When I was swinging around with my sensei and broke 50 broomsticks in half an hour, I was sitting there going, can we do something else? This is starting to get boring. It's not that my hand hurts, it's starting to get boring. And he laughed and said, okay, we can do something else. Okay, that's the thing, okay? I just get bored with it, all right? And that's because my style is that lethal. I was trained in Japan by old World War II veterans. Okay, I don't teach that stuff to people. You're not going to sit there and explain how to break every bone in the human body. Why? Okay, and that's the thing. Okay, if you walk up in a ninjitsu study and say that you study ninjitsu, and you take out a weapon and you go swing around the weapon a little bit, everyone in the class looks at you like you're bored. And you go, what? And they go, we're ninjas too, we've seen it all. We're bored of that kind of stuff. Don't show us this, show us something we haven't seen. Demonstrate a style that actually is something we can learn from. And if I did that, what use would it be, because your hands are not shaped the way mine are? You'd have to rebuild your hand because you've pulverized it doing a boxing style. Okay? Most people have completely destroyed their hands because in America, boxing is king. And if boxing isn't king, styles demonstrated from boxing are king. Methods of using karate and all of that, and kickboxing, etc., Muay Thai, all designed on hitting the exact same way. Okay? And if your hand is designed to be a hammer that's been completely pulverized in the knuckles, then there's no way you could do the attacks I do. Okay? My hands were specifically shaped so that I could do paralyzation strikes, so that I could break bones, so that I could do things like that. And I'm not going to demonstrate that. I'm not going to explain it. I could bring up the skeleton and show you different points on the skeleton and say, this is what you do to do this. I'm not going to do that. The only thing I might demonstrate is weapon styles, which you can see simply by watching films. You can watch me and Shogasugi working out together, and that's what I'll demonstrate. That's what I always demonstrate. And when people suddenly look at you and say something stupid, I just recently was sitting in a chat room and I showed them a style which I'm a little out of practice in doing, which is a little annoying to snap show it because I'm out of practice. When you realize that you're supposed to be on a pole 6 feet up in the air and you're not supposed to move. You're supposed to do every single thing from that pole. Well, it's been 30 years since I've been on a pole. And then, of course, hopping from pole to pole. And what it is doing Iaido at top speed. It's doing sword drawing, sword cutting, etc. in the trees. Okay? And, we used to do this all the time in Japan. And that's a large difference between the US and Japan, because in Japan you've got forests. You can sit there and you can do crazy things. Whereas in the United States, half of our country is either cement or plains and farms. There's like 6 forests in the entire country. So you can't just walk out, cut down a couple of trees, put up some stumps and dance around, because the country doesn't have enough trees to do that with. But I'm not here to bring ninjutsu to the world. I'm here to act. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to dress up in rubber suits, do combat, do stage combat, and fly around and prove that the whole world is a lot of fun. And to people out there, it's more of along the lines of, I want to draw you to martial arts. I want to get your intention to martial arts. I want you to be a martial artist. I want you to like what martial arts can do, not just to your body, not just the skills that you can obtain, but to your mind, to your life. Okay? There's more benefit from martial arts that has nothing at all to do with combat. It just has to do with your life experiences. You get angry. What are you going to do? Okay? You're going to get drunk? You're going to go beat up somebody? You're going to hit the heavyweight? Or are you going to learn a better way of handling your anger? That's what martial arts did for me. It taught me how to be sane, how to be calm, how to be quiet. And there are many styles of ninjutsu. In the United States, most people aren't aware of all the different aspects of the spiritual side of ninjutsu, because a lot of it isn't taught to the US. Okay? I studied primarily water, earth, ice, snow, things of this nature. And those are types of elements that aren't really seen in the US. People would ask me, what exactly element are you? I'm void. I'm space. And everything in between. I'm a cold fire. If you look at me and say, are you fire? I'm blue fire. And white fire that's made in the core of a forge. I'm the lava and the earth. But I don't care about fire. Fire always needs to find fuel. Water is everywhere. Snow is everywhere. Ice is everywhere. The mountains are under your feet. The forests, the trees, the green. It's all around you. Some of the most interesting studies in Ninjitsu I did was listening to the world itself. You know, I mean, when one of my senseis came out and asked me what I learned from the rain, one of the things I told him about was a bunny rabbit that was living outside his porch that he never even knew was there because he never saw it. And it was just the simple quiet of being able to sit around nature and enjoy it for what it is. You can learn so much from anything if you allow yourself to. Okay? Ninjitsu is not all about destruction. Because, you know, it's the modern age. You can't run around killing people. So you have to take it into a higher level, and you have to build a mental structure from it. And you have to decide how you want to live your life, you know. And the more quiet and stable you are, sometimes the better you can understand the world around you. The more you can understand, the happier you'll be.